Thinking about moving to Venice, Florida?
In this video, we're going to talk to you about South Venice and why you may consider it because it might be the right fit for you. So let's get started.
Before we get started though, if you're thinking about moving to the Venice, Florida area, make sure to call, text, or email me. My information will be in the description box below. I hear from people every day and I love it.
That number is 941-221-1897. We love hearing that people are watching the videos or getting a hold of her. So let's talk about the overall vibe and feel of South Venice versus Venice.
South Venice is a little more country, I would say. We're used to in different areas of the country. There are not many sidewalks, and if you do have a sidewalk, it's going to be pretty narrow. Sometimes there is like a sidewalk on one side of the street but not on the other.
Overall, I would say there tends to be a little bit more trees, a little bit bigger lots. Typically in the yard, you'll maybe get a little bit more yard in South Venice than the rest of Venice. I would say those are the main things that stand out as being different.
And the homes are a little bit older too, and a little bit different than like in planned communities. You kind of have that same style of homes, same colors, but in South Venice, like everything's pretty different.
Yeah, there's a little more variety. I mean, it's still going to be within the realm of Florida style homes, but within that range, there's quite a bit, and definitely older.
We forgot to mention one big thing about South Venice is that most of South Venice is on well and septic. Basically the way it's split out is you have Highway 41 Tamiami Trail. To one side is South Venice, and that's all on well and septic, and then to the other side we have like Venice Gardens, and it's still technically South Venice, but it's split up into different neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods are not on well and septic. So people like this because then you don't have like a water bill every month that you have to pay for. Some people hate the well. So it's really up to you. If you have a whole house water system to filter your water, then you won't have as many problems. But I have heard that like if the water, like if you have a sprinkler system and the water hits the wall, it can actually stain the wall. So you do have to be careful with that. But if you have a whole house water system, that can take care of all those issues for you. I've also heard that appliances can last less because of, all the salt and the sand in the water. So having the water system will also help to prevent some of those issues.
What else do they need to know about the homes? Prices, sizes?
Yeah, so for about 1,000 square foot home in South Venice, you're looking anywhere from mid 200,000s to and upwards. It just depends on the size, like if it's a 2-bed, 2-bath, or a 3-bed, 2-bath, but if it's bigger, it can go up to like 330. Right now it's just hard to say because of the market. It's a little bit crazy here, but anywhere from, I would say, mid 200,000s if you're not too picky about how the house looks and upwards.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably very few that go above that $500,000 mark, but there's probably a couple. And overall, if that's giving you an idea of the price point, for South Venice, if you're looking outside of that area in regular Venice or most of the gated communities, it's probably going to be more. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so most of the gated communities or planned communities, if they're not gated, you're looking at in the mid 300,000s and upwards. That all depends if you have a pool, if you have like a 3-bed and a den. Also, depending on what kind of amenities you have. And then on top of that, you have to include the homeowners association fees.
Which is one thing that stands out as a big difference with South Venice versus a lot of Venice, not all, but a lot. There's no homeowners association. We do have a full video talking about the pros and cons of an HOA. Just to give a quick rundown, an HOA is a fee, a homeowners association that you pay monthly or quarterly, sometimes yearly. That's on top of your mortgage and all that, and it'll hopefully get you something other than just some sidewalks, because a lot of Florida does not have sidewalks. You might get exterior maintenance or yard maintenance or something like that included.
And yeah, that's more common like with the villas, but the villas are kind of like a side-by-side duplex, and the condos, the HOA typically covers all of like your outside maintenance, and like sometimes they'll cover the roof. It just depends on the homeowners association. Housing, typically nothing is really covered like on the structure itself, but you might get an HOA that actually takes care of the outside, so like the lawn maintenance.
And with an HOA is going to come some restrictions, and they're going to want your yard to look a certain way, or your house, you maybe can only use certain colors. So there's a lot to consider. Again, we'll link you to the video for more details, because that's not what this video is about. But South Venice does not have an HOA except for...
Yeah, it does have, it's an optional fee that you can pay. I believe it's yearly. It's only like $100 a year
something
or
like
less.
That. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's not much.
Yeah, it basically grants you access to like a private beach, and you can take the ferry. So that fee covers your ferry ride to the private beach.
Yeah, we need to get that. And I did look it up. I can't remember the price, but I think it was like $100 something for the year. And that every time you go, if you have that pass, you can bring 6 people, or 6 people total, including yourself, I believe. So that's not a bad deal, really, to pay that for a year, have this private beach that's completely unspoiled and that doesn't have all the, stuff by it. If that's something you're into, that's kind of cool.
Yes. Also, speaking of a beach or a private beach, this one's not private, but it's very close to South Venice, and that's Minnesota Key Beach. That's actually in Englewood, but Englewood and South Venice kind of like
borders almost?
Yeah. Englewood, so it's very close, even closer than the Venice Beach in downtown Venice.
Yeah, I think from most parts of South Venice, you're probably looking at an 8 to 10 minute drive, maybe 5-minute drive, maybe even a little less. And if it gets past that 10-minute point, then you're probably closer to a beach in Venice, so you really can't lose. And really all of Venice, you're really never too far from a beach. I'd say 20 minutes at the very most, 15 or less for most parts though.
Yes.
On that note, let's talk more about some more of the things to do in the South Venice area.
There is a lot of shopping in the South Venice area, like more like department stores. Venice downtown has a lot of like little shops, more local owned, but the South Venice area has like your Target, your Marshalls, Bells, which
we used to say Beals.
It's not Beals, it's Bells. So you do have quite a few options for shopping.
And groceries,
And
Publix.
groceries, yes, Publix. There's a Walmart too.
There's Panda Express over in that area. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes, and if you don't like any of that stuff, you can always take a short drive to like Sarasota. It's about 35 minutes depending on traffic.
And Englewood.
Englewood is very close. Fort Myers, which would be about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour. And a lot of options. And with those other cities too, something to keep in mind, for work, you're looking at about 30 to 45 minutes to Sarasota, about an hour to Fort Myers for work possibly. Or if you want to go further north, Tampa's probably like an hour 15, maybe hour and a half depending on traffic. So you do have some options there. Northport is also inland.
For work, we have Amazon warehouse, which is pretty new actually. It just came to town like a year or two ago. We also just got a new hospital, Sarasota Memorial. There's also Englewood Hospital, which is pretty close to South Venice.
There's another one on the island, on Venice Island.
Yes, there's a ton of different like medical facilities throughout Venice.
Yeah, so you got you covered for medical and for work opportunities. Also on the work side of things, there's a lot of opportunities in the service industry, working at a golf course, which is another recreational thing you can do, which with this we can kind of dip into both some more of the fun things to do and work opportunities. There's opportunities with things on the water like fishing charters. Some people will take people out for sunset cruises to see dolphins, things like that. Obviously all the restaurants and the stores. So yeah, that's pretty much the main kinds of work you're going to find in here. There's not a lot of factories and things like that maybe you would see like in the Midwest, like where we're from. So something to keep in mind. And then also, let's continue with some of the ideas as far as fun things to do. There's stuff on the water, going to the beach, going fishing, going on your boat. There's golfing, lots of golf courses in the area.
There is also a lot of live music in the downtown area. A lot of different restaurants will actually have different like bands playing or just like a one-man show.
And not just in Venice, but also
in Englewood.
Yeah, a lot of music there.
The beach road in Englewood, it's pretty cool. Like there is all these little restaurants / bars, and they'll have live music.
And they're right across from the beach on the street.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Englewood as a whole, it's cool to be so close, I think, to that area because it does have a very different feel than Venice. It's got kind of like this old Florida meets a small tropical island feel to it. It's cool. It's got its own character for sure.
Venice is known for more of an elderly population. There is this restaurant in South Venice that's called Off the Wagon.
Yes.
This video is not sponsored by Off the Wagon. But no, there is like a lot of different, I think every weekend they have live music, and it's actually pretty cool.
It's like jumping in there. It's
it's
club
like
or
a club.
something. Yeah.
Yes. So that's pretty cool. So if you're on the younger side, that's a place you can go to and have fun.
And it's cool too, not to overly promote this company, but they have like craft brews that they make there. So like you can literally see the brewing equipment if that's something you're into, and you know, it's kind of got that pub style of food too. So it's just a cool place. Has really good food, and the music is awesome. So it's good for as a restaurant or as a hangout spot at night. One other thing I think we should mention with a possible con with South Venice area is the fact that there is no HOA. Could be a con just because there's going to be less restrictions, and with less restrictions means people can kind of do what they want, which could be a pro if you want to have like a camper in your driveway or an old beat up car that you're fixing up, but for some people they don't want that around. So it just depends on the person, I think.
If you don't care about stuff like that, then South Venice is the way to go. But if you do, then maybe like a lower HOA that doesn't include any amenities, but that it includes just, you know, like basically for you being part of that neighborhood, you have to pay a fee. Like sometimes it can be as low as like a $25 fee, and it can go up to like $100, and they'll include like a pool for you to use.
Yeah, and overall I would say South Venice isn't very bad that way with having like junk cars in the driveway, overgrown grass. It's actually pretty nice overall.
Yes. Yeah. Another thing that's pretty cool to do in Venice is the Shark is on the pier. It's like a huge pier that they have a beach on site that you can actually go on the beach. They have like 2 different restaurants, a tiki bar, and sunsets there are like pretty amazing. A lot of people will actually go there and take pictures like on the pier or like on the bottom of the pier.
And also by the pier, a couple things to keep in mind is you can go on the pier and fish for free. You don't need a license or anything like that. And just down from that is a dog beach. If that's something you're into, you can bring your dog there and have it off leash.
Yes, and then another cool thing to do in Venice is the jetties, the South and North jetty. There you can see dolphins, you can see manatees.
We haven't seen a manatee yet, have we?
Yeah, once.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that one time. Lots of dolphins, though.
Yes, a lot of different types of birds. Yeah. It's just pretty cool to see. A lot of people will go to the South Jetty and actually surf. If there's waves, yeah, you can see them surfing. So like if it's a windy day, like typically after a storm has passed through, you'll see a lot of surfers, which is kind of fun too.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out that we saw there that I think was one of the coolest things that we've seen, someone caught a little shark. It was probably like this big. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it was just flopping around on the jetty. Another thing to note, if you're looking for things to do, entertainment, leisure, recreation, you've got a lot of opportunity we got croquet, pickleball, tennis courts everywhere, lots of parks with lots of trails, basketball courts, so much stuff to do outside, bike trails, the Legacy Trail, which actually goes all the way up to Sarasota. So really anything that you're into outdoor-wise, like this whole area has you covered. It's very big on that, and they say a lot of people come to Florida to retire, but in Venice, a lot of people come here to live. You know, it's a very active retirement community. So what about for families? Is South Venice, or Venice in general, a good area for families?
Yes, it definitely is. We have great schools. Sarasota County as a whole has great schools, so you can't go wrong with anywhere within the county. We're also a school of choice, so if you don't like a certain school for whatever reason, you can sign up for a different school to send your child to, but I believe there is like a list that you have to sign up for, and like kind of like a waiting list to be part of that district or that school.
And there's also a lot of activities too. Oh, I was going to mention this earlier. This will tie in with it for kids as far as like at the YMCA. I know a lot of times in the summer they'll have like youth basketball leagues and things like that. So a lot of opportunities there for like football. And that's not just at the YMCA. All throughout the community there's a lot of like youth outreach type things or youth sports that they can take part in, or camps, summer camps. Up in Nokomis, which is basically pretty much Venice, but it's like on the north part of Venice. They have a summer camp that they run all summer at their park. So there's a lot of opportunities for kids to do things like that. And then also on that tangent with the YMCA made me think about fitness. If you're into that, there are plenty of gyms in the area. We've got a Planet Fitness. I think there's a B&B or BB. I see that it's like a chain down here. I've seen a couple of those. So there's definitely a lot of options for that. We see those all over town too. So if you're into that, there's options for that.
There's actually too a pretty cool fitness center that they have the fitness classes, and they also serve smoothies. We went for the smoothies the other day.
That was the BB.
That's the one.
Or whatever it's called. I can't remember. It was B something.
And that's in South Venice. Yeah, we went there for the smoothies. Didn't take a class or anything. Maybe we should.
And I got a sweet potato pie smoothie, and
was
it amazing. It was seasonal though, so you have to get it around Christmas time or Thanksgiving.
If you want to learn more about any neighborhood in the area, make sure to call, text, or email me. My information will be in the description box below. I hear from people every day. We love hearing from you guys. Talking to him about you guys is always so amazing.
Yeah, I love hearing about it from her. 941-221-1897 is the phone number. If you found the video helpful, definitely subscribe. We cover a lot more about the area, not just Inglewood and Venice, but Sarasota, Northport, you know, all the little pockets in between. So you can find out more about the area. Hit the like button if you found the video helpful, and live breezy.